suppose is going on with this foil? It's that Reynolds non-stick foil, and it's got a thick, much thicker than the other, like piece. I don't. It looks like the end piece. Let me show you. I'll unwrap some fresh out of the package. I'm a little frightened. It looks like tape. Um, it's a different color than the foil. It rips apart at the foil edge. And I'm just curious what's up. It's through and through the whole roll. And this one had it across this way too, so there might be more like that as well. I don't know. Anyway, I'm making salmon. And we don't eat the skin, and the skin is touching the actual whatever that is, so I'm not too worried about it. Well, as you can see, the salmon is down, so we don't eat the salmon. The skin is down, and we don't eat the skin typically, so we just lifted it up, and so whatever's going on with the foil here is not going to taint the salmon itself. My son caught this in September. It's coho salmon, caught in the Pacific Northwest. You want me to tell you his fishing hole? Here it is. No. I got in trouble for doing that on Facebook. I didn't know it wasn't okay. This was a long time ago. I know better now. Anyway, when we just had some, neither of us was having this for dinner, but I wanted to cook it up so that I could take whatever's left over from people nibbling at it. I don't mean they came over with a fork. I mean they cut it. And then when it's cold, I'll flake it up. It flakes beautifully. And I'll make a dip out of it with, cream cheese and whatchamacallit. It'll be tasty that way. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Thursday BookTube. Thursday BookTube is hosted at Life with Patty and at my mountain home and kitchen. I'm looking because the writing to me on this card looks unfocused, out of focus. We upload on Thursdays. You tell us about a book, a magazine. You tell us what you read last, what you loved, what you didn't like. Do you go to a book club? What's your favorite place to start when you go to a bookstore? Do you like to go to the library? Do you have a library card? Our library doesn't have cards anymore. You just come in and check out a book, I guess. I haven't been in there in a long time because in our small town, the city council, in their wisdom, has released almost all the parking spaces to be for people who live at the marina, which is right where the library is too, downtown. People who live aboard need somewhere to park their cars, obviously, but then the little spaces that were left, I hear, are now paid parking, which, it's not that big a deal. I shouldn't complain. I used to buy $5 coffee every day. But anyway, I will, because it's part of BookTube. I also wanted to tell you, I have been working for literally hours sorting things out here. I have Valentine's Day, I have winter, I have springtime, I have a dog behind me here, Christmas. It's just crazy, and I have just scratched the surface. So I'm excited to do this. I'm all up in it. I want to do this, but I'm having company on Friday again, and I have a lot to do in this house. I kept saying, oh, this weekend, it's not a weekend, I know tonight's Tuesday, you're going to see this on Thursday. I have to do videos ahead to not have to stop and do a video. Do you know what I mean? Do some of you do that too? It's not that it's a problem. I love to do it. But there are some things I've got to get done. I've got to change all the sheets. I've got to clean the bathrooms. I've got to scrub the floor. I've already been working in the pantry, but not the one around the corner, not the kitchen pantry, but the one around in the laundry room. I've got to bathe the dogs, make myself look presentable. I went and had a haircut and a pedicure yesterday. It was the bomb. I mean, I just don't do enough, like I think I said before, the last time I had a haircut was exactly a year ago. So the hair was needing to be cut, and the toenails are always looking a little sketchy. So they're better now. Not that you asked. Let me tell you about this book that I have. This is the Cottagecore Christmas Cookbook. I don't like I'm so weird. I don't like the font on this C right here because it looks like a G almost. But, I always have to say something about something. I don't know why it's acting like this. Is that better? I think so. From gingerbread walls to steaming mugs by the fire, old-fashioned recipes and traditions from winter cottages. Okay, the author is Autumn Rosewood, and the illustrations are just darling on here. This is the kind of thing, if it was packaging, I would just cut it up and use it, but I won't cut the book up. I know a lot of you would be happy to hear that. Waking to Winter Mornings recipes, the fireside comforts, Yuletide baking traditions, the Christmas table, sweet nostalgia, holiday breads from the cottage oven, cottagecore gatherings, magical Christmas desserts, gifts from the cottage kitchen, the afterglow of Christmas. That's a nice way to say leftovers, isn't it? Cottage Christmas keepsakes, and a candlelit welcome. Isn't that sweet? And it just says, step inside and here's what you'll find. A note on Christmas and winter. Oh, and she signs her forward here. And then a note on Christmas and winter. I've called this book a Christmas cookbook because so many of these recipes are tied to holiday by tradition. Gingerbread houses, Yule logs, saffron buns, mince pies. They've lived in stories and songs for centuries. And to me, they carry that unmistakable feeling of Christmas. And she goes on, and that's beautiful. And so waking to winter mornings, and each of the chapters have a really sweet illustration to go with it. So here's another illustration. Just sweet black and white, look like old-fashioned. Mulled wine by the fire. I never had, I've told you this story before. The worst heartburn I've ever had in my life was due to me trying to make a mulled cider type thing. Thought I was gonna die. Gingerbread, pretty stars, pretty buns. Every time I say the word buns now, or not buns, bunt cake, I think of that, my big fat Greek wedding, bunt cake. What's a bunt cake? If you've never seen my big fat Greek wedding, it is what do you call those? They're just legend. They weren't big budget, these kind of movies, but they were memorable. Probably one of my top 10 favorite. And there's that. What's weird about my big fat Greek wedding too is the lady who actually wrote the story starred in the movie along with the guy. Chris was his character in shoot. I talk too much and I don't know where I'm going. It was a television show about Alaska, and he was the DJ in the town, and he was like the most woke. Except for the Indians, they were too. They weren't Indians, I guess. They were Eskimos, or they were Aleut, or they were Native, or whatever you're choosing to say. I know I probably offended about 30 or 40,000 people just now. Sorry about that. Chapter 4, The Christmas Table. Roast chicken with herbs and chestnuts. Beef roast with red wine and rosemary. I've never done that. Rosemary is my least favorite herb. I like the looks for holidays, for decorating, but I'm not crazy about it in my food. I'll eat it. It's just not my favorite. Oh, Kendra doesn't turn down a meal. I stagnated. I have not lost. It's been a day. I get on the scale every morning, and if I don't lose, I beat myself up all day. I should just not do that, right? But no, I like a little punishment. Pretty for making cranberry sauce. What do we have here? Oh, yes, scalloped potatoes. Pretty. Oranges dipped in chocolate. Do you eat the orange too, or just nibble the chocolate off? I've never had this. Chocolate dipped candied oranges. So I guess you do. They're candied oranges. A Yule log. Love those. Just for the prettiness. Not so much the taste as the prettiness. Do you say Stalin or stolen? I bet you say stolen. Stolen. Because Stalin was a dictator. You don't want to say that. I don't know. Cranberry walnut hearth bread. Doesn't that sound comforting? Almond glazed holiday bread. It's just the bread in me, you know. Herbed cottage loaf. Look at this. Candied nuts in parchment. Anyway, I'm not going to go through this because I've had you long enough, but this is a really sweet, inexpensive cookbook. And if you had a party where you wanted to exchange used books or books that didn't cost more than, I don't know, $10. I don't know what this was, but maybe it was like 11 or so. Wait. It doesn't say. I got it on Amazon, and I know I didn't pay that much. I've got the hiccups now. Okay. I know I didn't pay that much for it. I was going to say, I used to attend these parties at Christmas where we would exchange stuff. We exchanged socks one year. We exchanged cookbooks once a year, and they had to be Christmas cookbooks, and we had to get them from Goodwill or St. Vincent de Paul, which was such a good idea, I think. And you wrapped them, and you did that whole dirty Santa thing where you pass them around, and then you just pass two to your right, and then the one with the I don't know, the oldest one will then steal a book and trade with them. That is so much fun. I just don't have the room or really the want to do stuff like that anymore. And I used to host a huge Christmas cookie exchange party every year, like with 18 or 19 people crammed into my mother's house because mine was even smaller at the time. And she was such a sport about it. But anyway, get you some of this. And if you like what you see and you saw what you like, I hope you consider subscribing to my channel and saying hi. And I will see you guys on Friday, but not for too long because it's a big day for me. Bye.